Instead of Asmongold saying, oh, we're not bigoted or we're not stupid, he is literally saying, yes, you can't bully us for being bigoted and stupid. He is confirming what I'm saying. Elon is still locked in, replying to my stalker account. Asmongold has no love lost over Hasan losing grip of his bully influence on the online arena. Must be very awful for Hasan that he can't bully people out of having positions that he disagrees with. You had a good run. Must suck. Yeah, really sucks. Elon Musk hitting with the smiling, crying emoji. The regression of political discourse continues. Okay, the regression of political discourse continues. That's crazy. This is the wealthiest person on the planet, and he is replying to my fucking stalker account on the social media platform that he owns, while also celebrating that the social media platform that he owns unironically has become a horrible place for back and forth and for politics. Like richest man on earth replying to Twitch drama, 0 aura points, minus 1 million aura points. What is Asmongold even talking about? I don't know. I haven't even looked into it, but I suspect that if I were to speculate, it would most likely be that like these guys claim that liberals bullied them all the time, and now they're the bullies or something. Like it's just like vengeance politics. Like first you perceive yourself as a victim for having abhorrent opinions about things.
If you want to consider a genocide as a systematic killing of a group of people, they have genocide built into Sharia law right now. So no, I'm not going to cry a river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a They're terrible people. It's not even a question. It's crazy that people don't see it that way. They'd be doing the same thing. And how much did they kill? As many as they can. These people are not your allies. They are not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity, and it is directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways. It is that simple. No, I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel sorry for them. I don't care. I don't support them.
And then once like those abhorrent political opinions become the norm in platforms like the ones that Elon Musk owns, where people basically wear their bigotry and their stupidity as a badge of courage, which is what my point was, then they say, well, back in the day, you used to bully us, and now the bullies are, it's the revenge of the nerds or something, which is so stupid. Just,
And this is Hasan crying. Is this, you know what? Who cares? Let's move on. Yeah. This is just how, what is this? This is how Twitter and increasingly more online spaces feel nowadays. People are no longer able to feel shame and wear their bigotry and stupidity like a badge of honor. Yes, I understand. It must be very awful for Hasan that he can't bully people out of having positions that he disagrees with now.
You know what's really funny about this? I never bullied Asmongold until he became this like right-wing demon. Or even when he had right-wing opinions, I was very charitable to him. And he was the one who has historically demanded that I get banned or maybe even go to jail. You know what I mean?
I think they should ban him. I do. This is expressing material support for a terrorist group that is targeting civilians and has killed people. I have been very reasonable about this for a very long period of time.
For my opinions. So I don't know where he comes from with this like victimhood bullshit. People would yell at me all the time for not being more aggressive towards Asmongold. Like I was incredibly charitable to Asmongold, far more than he deserved, really, and far more than he's ever demonstrated towards me after becoming a prominent right-wing political commentator. But it's like so strange because in the minds of his community, they operate as though they have this mentality that like I was the reason why he got banned or something. Like they legitimately think I called for his ban, or at least I got him banned when he said the thing about Palestinians deserving genocide. His heart is not in this shit. You can hear it in his voice. He had to read through your tweet and then come up with an on-the-spot anti-Hasan take for the content. He's just going through the motions. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, Bryce.
Hey, listen, it was a good few years, right? You had a good run. But I think people are
like, given my position as someone who's always been outside of the permissible commentary structure of mainstream media, I've never been Mr. Let's ban people, you know, because I understand what goes around comes around. And I understand that, like, more often than not, someone like myself is probably in the crosshairs way faster than a right-wing person that is basically in line with the administration's agenda. So that is part of the reason why I've always been very careful talking about, like, deplatforming, where I do think that, like, there is validity to deplatforming certain ideas. Okay. Not allowing certain ideas to fester is I think good for discourse in general. It's better for speech. It's better for free speech. Like, there are boundaries around, like, what you can and can't say, and there are understandable, reasonable boundaries, even in the United States of America, around what you can and can't say, even on private platforms. And I think, like, what has happened to Twitter is a perfect demonstration of, like, why those safeguards must exist for speech to thrive in general. But of course, like, for guys like this, they don't mind that shit at all. They love it because it's all about, like, dominating your opponent, dominating your political enemies. And if you don't actually have good reason to dominate your political enemies, something that Asmongold used to say all the time was, you know, a lot of people on Hasan, but if he's such a bad guy, why are you making stuff up about him? Right? Like, that's what he used to tell his audience all the time. Like, something that he always would say is, like, if Hasan is such a bad guy, just say what he's doing that's bad instead of just, like, making shit up about him to yell about. And now he basically does it himself, or at least leans on it himself, because he got a little taste of that, like, Hasan juice, right? And he recognized it. He recognized the value that brings to the table, and he kind of dropped it, which is, you know, it is what it is. What are you going to do? I genuinely cannot comprehend how or why other streamers continue to collab with this man on camera. That he says is so disgusting. One, people are worried about getting ass blasted by his legion of mass harassers. Okay, that's a big part of the problem. And two, he's one of the top content creators on the platform. Most people look at this as a job. They don't think about, like, with the exception of this community, okay, even Asmongold's community looks at this from the lens of drama. Do you understand? They don't actually think about the political movement that they are a part of. I'm sure that there are people who have genuine political convictions that are inside of Asmongold's community, but a lot of people don't look at politics from that framework. They look at politics as, like, yeah, it's just a type of content. Because if you notice, like, even my friends, sometimes when they talk about, like, my job security, other content creators on this platform will say, like, Hasan, you have permanent job security because, like, the content that you're covering is endless. So from their perspective, they think I'm doing this just because this is, like, a type of content that I can create, and not because, like, there is genuine political conviction behind what I'm doing. And this is friendly content creators, right? Like, they're not even looking at that cynically. They're just, like, in their minds, it's like all entertainment. This is just a type of entertainment. So it is what it is. This is what Asmongold and his audience keep defending on the platform when they say all this, by the way. Yeah, keep pandering, long nose. We know what you are. Oh, shut the up. They're all the same. Goose stepping, long nose. Not Jews you ever met a poor. Yeah, it's just it is. It's just some of the grossest little freaks that feel emboldened, just like the first Trump administration created this environment where Nazis felt comfortable marching on the streets. When you give these guys an inch, they take a mile. You know, this is their opportunity. This is like something that this is something that they're very excited about. Like, I have never sheltered anyone from what I consider to be what my politics are, right? People will say, like, oh, you're hiding your power level or whatever, but it's like, no, I'm not. Nazis on the other hand used to try and hide their power levels, right? Back in the day. The reason why they have to do that is because there is a difference between the maximalist position on socialism or communism versus a maximalist position on Nazi ideology. The final solution is the maximalist position on Nazi ideology, the eradication or ethnic cleansing of an entire population on characteristics that they can't change about themselves. Whereas for communism or socialism, there is no such designation. It's an economic organization of society that I have no issue pushing towards, because I ultimately don't. There is nothing shameful about it. There is nothing that contradicts with my values on that front. When you try to describe fascism to an onlooker in simple terms, one, they obviously are taught that it's bad and wrong, but two, it's bad and wrong in the most basic ways. Like, it's bad and wrong in the most basic ways. I think it's different, but you absolutely do the same thing. You even spoke the other day about how you soften your message in the same way when you speak at places like Oxford. Again, it's different, but it's exactly the same. No, okay? It's not the same at all. Because when someone asks me what my position is, I'm not ashamed of it. Like, I'm not hiding my position at all. I don't think you understand the difference. A Nazi will deny being a Nazi. I do not deny being a socialist. I have no issue being called a socialist. I don't even have an issue being called a communist. A Nazi, on the other hand, for understandable reasons, is going to try to shelter you, try to hide the truth about their actual political convictions. The reason why they try and hide it is because when you strip it of all of the aesthetics, the ideology comes down to a violent enforcement built around one ethnic identity or one religious identity, transcending above with notions of superiority over all other ethnic identities. That's not what communism is, and that's not what socialism is. So there is no reason to, there's no reason for me to like ever feel ashamed about my worldview at all. Whereas Nazis understand that when you try to describe your worldview in its most basic form, there's still a lot of pain and a lot of violence dished out for no real reason beyond fantasies of superiority, ethnic superiority. Because violence is obviously, if we're going to talk about like violence as a permanent construct in politics, like violence is at the heart of all politics. Who gets to do it? Who is victim to it? There are many different forms of violence, but I'm talking simply like why Nazis and why fascists do violence. It's untenable. It's completely unacceptable. And most people consider it to be inappropriate and wrong. There is a sense of shame associated with dishing out violence for fascist purpose. Hiding power level is blatant deception. It's not the same as being tactful with the wording while still being honest. Exactly. Like, you will never catch me stand down or on trans people. You know what I mean? Just because like the audience I'm talking to is transphobic, like that's not going to happen. You will never catch me. You will never catch me like on black people or brown people or anything like that, because the audience is not receptive to that kind of language. Like, that's not. My principles remain the same, even if my messaging is more tactful. Whereas Nazis will actively deny that they're Nazis, and also will actively deny that they have racial purity politics, for example. Does that make sense? Now, that is also changing, though. That's also changing because people are feeling a lot more comfortable about openly stating their fascist desires. As opposed, armed resistance is seen as morally just against a belligerent colonizer on the talks of shameful violence. Yeah. So applaud you for not being... Wait, what? What power level? Doing photo shoots at protest marches doesn't move the needle. That's just called being a decent human being. So applaud you for not being transphobic or racist on Twitch. So brave. Wait, what? Are you okay, dude? We got, on the one hand, we got these weirdos. And then on the other hand, we got other weirdos that are like, dude, you're doing the bare minimum. Like, I know, man. I never said that I wasn't. Like, what? I agree. It is called being a decent human being. Recognize how political discourse operates nowadays, and you will understand that like people actually ride with vice signaling as they have substituted vices as a virtue. They see vice as a virtuous thing. That's my point. That is at the heart of this tweet that I presented, where I said, this is just how Twitter and increasingly most other online spaces feel nowadays. People are no longer able to feel shame and wear their bigotry and stupidity like a badge of honor. That was my argument. And it's kind of funny that, like, instead of Asmongold saying, oh, we're not bigoted or we're not stupid, he is literally saying, yes, you can't bully us for being bigoted and stupid. He is confirming what I'm saying and basically doubling down and saying, yeah, it's good that we can do that. And you guys are no longer able to bully us or anything like that. Like, it's a self-own for Asmongold once again.
That he can't bully people out of having positions that he disagrees with now. Hey, listen, it was a good few years.
Like, my goal is not to bully people that disagree with me. My goals are to convince people that disagree with me that their worldview is based on violent desires and superficial understandings of race, if that's what they believe, depending on what their belief system is.
You had a good run, but I think people are tired of being bullied out of thinking things. And
like, this is again an apolitical centrist way of covering this, but like, people are tired of being bullied and bullied out of thinking things, or people are tired of being bullied for just thinking things is so expansive, right? Like, what are the things you're thinking? What's the bullying that you're referencing? Does it mean that, are you talking about someone who's like advocating for the final solution or mass displacement of all non-white people from U.S. soil, for example? I'm not saying that this is what Asmongold is doing, but like, the type of people that he captures with this broad umbrella could literally go from people who have a disagreement with me on like tactics of resistance against Israel, all the way to people who are goose stepping and literally stating that they want a white America, a white ethno state. And the bullying that he's referencing could mean anything from like doxing and harassment campaigns all the way down to people being like, I don't agree with you, and I think that you're wrong, and here is why. That's it. A lot of people have like developed this idea that if their worldview is repulsive to the average person, it's actually their fault. Okay? Take some accountability, Take some ownership. I recognize that the media landscape is changing. I recognize that. I understand that I never had the opinion that my worldview was incredibly popular, right? I know that. That was my starting point. That is something that I've always described to people in my community, where I always tell people like, hey, look, being a leftist is all about taking L's. You're gonna take a ton of L's. Liberals don't you. Liberals don't agree with your worldview. Obviously, anyone on the right doesn't agree with your worldview at all. I respect your opinions, but comparing Trump supporters and Republicans to Nazis and racists does not make you look morally better than us. What are you saying? Like, you're protesting too much. That's not what I'm saying. I never said that. I did not say that just now. You have this insecurity about your worldview, I think. Like, this is just you telling on your own self and the way you see the world. Okay? I did not say all Republicans are, or all Trump supporters are Nazis and racists, okay? I don't know why you immediately rushed to adopt that moniker so willingly. I'm a Republican, but I live in South Carolina where all my friends are Hispanic and blacks. Okay, brother, I don't care about your background. I don't know why you just like jumped on to be like, I'm a Nazi, or people calling me a Nazi all the time or whatever, okay? My point was not that Asmongold himself is even this. I'm saying that Asmongold uses vague language and weaponizes vague language to cover a broad swath of please don't babe me. What is babe? Asmongold utilizes broad language over a spectrum of ideology that reaches all the way to like neo-Nazis and shit. When saying like people are getting bullied, and it also when he says people are getting bullied, that's also vague. Like, what does he mean by people getting bullied? I assume you mean please don't baby me or something. But like, what does he mean by being bullied? What does he mean by like people getting bullied for their own. Careful, don't let Hasanabi pull up your Twitter. It'll result in you reflecting your worldview and potentially improving yourself. Hell, I went out and got a job because of this guy. Nice.